Good morning, friends. Today is Monday, September 14th. I'm going to show you a few things that might be helpful for your lesson today. You are going to want to have a calculator. You can use your phone, you can use a tab on your computer, but you will going to need to use a calculator today that has the square root symbol on it. Today you're going to be thinking about how to estimate the value of various square roots. So if I wrote here the square root of 2, I can also read that radical 2. If I want to know about what is that value approximately, I can type into my calculator square root of 2, and I get this big old irrational number because the square root of 2 is irrational. If I want to estimate the value, I'm just going to go ahead today and round to the nearest tenth, so one place past the decimal point. So I'm going to say that this is approximately 1.4. And that can be a really helpful thing to know, especially if I'm, say, trying to order a list of numbers. So maybe I have the number 1, radical 2, and 1/2. And let's say I've been asked to order those numbers from least to greatest. In order to do that, I need to know that that has a value, the square root of 2 has a value that's approximately 1 4/10 or 1.4. So if I know that, then I can say, well, in this list of numbers, the smallest number is 1/2, that's least, and then 1, and then radical 2. So this now has been ordered from least to greatest. Let's do another example. This time I'm going to choose to think about the value of the square root of 10. And so if I want to think about the value of the square root of 10, I can think about it this way. I know that the square root of 9 is equal to 3 because that's a perfect square. And I know that the square root of 16 is equal to 4 because that's a perfect square. And this is going to be in between there. So the square root of 10 has to be somewhere in between 3 and 4. So let's see what it is using our calculator. So if I use my calculator, I get that nice number. And if I'm going to round to the nearest tenth, I have 3.16. That 6 is going to tell me to round that 1 up to 2. So I can say 10 is approximately 3 2/10, which should make sense because that's in between 3 and 4. And so that gives me a nice estimate of what the value of the square root of 10. So let's say I had a list of numbers that included the square root of 25, 3, the square root of 10, and 3.5. Let's say I have this nice list of numbers, and I want to order them from least to greatest. So one thing I'd have to know is that the square root of 10, radical 10, has a value approximately of 3 2/10. So now I'm going to think about the value of everything else. So this is a perfect square that has a value of 5. So my smallest number in this list is going to be 3. So if I'm going least to greatest, I have 3. And then radical 10 has a value that's about 3 2/10. So that's smaller than 3.5. So I'd say, let me write this in radical form. So the square root of 10 would come next. 3.5 would come next. And then radical 25 would come next because that has a value of 5. And so now these numbers are in order from least to greatest. And so I hope that helps a little bit today. You don't need to take any notes. What I'd like you to do is go to your puzzle piece, and I want you to go through it, answer the questions to the best of your ability. You have 2 chances, so if you get some wrong the first time, look at what you did wrong, go see if you can correct your mistakes, and then I will do more teaching about these ideas tomorrow when we're together in Google Meet.